Many of us have learned how to offer this kind of steadiness to others. Yet many of us have never learned how to receive it for ourselves.
Hi, I'm Jana Shalom, and this is Nervous System Groundwork. Your nervous system is part of the body that helps you breathe, move, and respond to the world, especially when things feel overwhelming. In these videos, I share a few simple strategies that work with the body, not against it, with clear explanations of what's happening within the body at a physiological level. These tools are not here for stabilization, not for self-improvement. And if something doesn't work for you, that's not failure. It's information. Let's begin.
On today's episode of Nervous System Groundwork, we are going to spend a little time together discussing why our nervous systems prepare before we even know it. We already carry full lives, full schedules, full nervous systems. As we begin exploring survival patterns that shape the rhythm of our nervous systems over time, it's important for us to remember that being prepared is often a tension that our nervous systems are feeling. It's a tension between unpredictability, unprepared emotional shifts that might be occurring, or maybe unprepared for events that might happen next. And eventually, that preparation begins happening automatically. Our body starts organizing before conscious awareness fully forms. Our bodies start organizing a moment before anything even arrives. We begin to feel the urge to explain ourselves, to solve something, to ease something, to respond, to prepare, to move almost immediately. Today, we are staying close to the physiology, which is the responses happening inside of our bodies underneath that experience. We're going to spend time naming what our body may be carrying internally when readiness becomes familiar. And oftentimes, something shifts simply through understanding that the nervous system has been working excessively hard for an extended period of time. I want to start today with a nervous system truth framing. Many of us, preparation has become one of the ways our nervous system has learned to care for us. We learn to notice when there's changes in the atmosphere. We learn to notice maybe when someone grows unusually quiet. We are noticing when someone's laughter feels different. This familiarity allows us to recognize when the emotional tone of the room has shifted, even before anyone explains why. Our bodies often respond before our conscious thought arrives. Our attention sharpens, our breathing changes, and thoughts begin moving faster. Our body quietly organizes around what might happen next. The nervous system has learned this through repetition. It has learned that preparation matters. It learns that our body has been organizing around these unconscious decisions for far longer than we realized it was happening. So over time, readiness begins to feel less like something we do, and it becomes something of who we are. We may experience ourselves as naturally vigilant, as naturally responsible, or naturally attentive. Those qualities may genuinely belong to us, but they might also reflect a nervous system that has become highly practiced at preparation. Naming that distinction matters. When preparation is something our nervous systems have learned to do, it's not something personal. It doesn't mean that we're failing in some way. It's not evidence that there's something wrong with us. It's evidence that our body has been responding intelligently to the environments that shaped it. And when we begin seeing readiness as a survival adaptation instead of judgment about who we are, compassion tends to find its way to us much easier. I want to start by naming 3 strategies that could potentially help us when we are learning to identify what is a familiar nervous system response versus what is something that's unfamiliar. I want to name for us 3 strategies that can be an invitation for us. Each of these strategies is helping us understand our nervous system and the ways that our nervous system responds automatically. This first invitation is for a strategy I call naming the preparation. One of the most supportive things we can do is begin naming something while it's happening. Not trying to fix it or trying to stop it or trying to judge it. Simply learning to name it. We might notice, ooh, I feel my nervous system preparing. Or I feel my nervous system scanning. Or I feel my nervous system anticipating. Our nervous systems are constantly looking where to direct our attention. And to us, this may seem very small, but it creates a very important distinction. It's very, very different to say, ooh, I'm curious, I'm wondering, I'm sensing my nervous system doing this, versus saying, I'm anxious, I'm too much, I'm overreacting, I'm the problem. One names the experience. The other names judgment towards ourselves. And those are not the same thing. The goal isn't to convince ourselves that nothing is happening. The goal is to recognize when what is happening without our self-judgment. That is the first repair. Naming is the first repair. And it's simply that, naming something accurately. Because when something has a name, it no longer can carry as much shame. The second strategy I invite you to is a strategy called widening our attention. When our nervous systems organize around readiness, our attention often becomes very narrow. Orientation helps widen our awareness again. We orient through a process called inventory of our senses. We might slowly look around the room and notice colors nearby. I see my microphone is black. We might feel our feet touching the floor. I feel carpet underneath my toes. We might learn to listen to what sounds we can hear. There's a bird chirping outside the window. When we are using our senses to name what we can see, name what we feel, name what we can hear, name what we can taste, when we are using our senses to connect with the present moment, this is called inventory of our senses. And what it's doing is it's grounding us in the here and now. We're no longer ruminating about the past, and we're no longer anxious about the future. We are here right now with our senses experiencing this moment. So you may settle into a chair and feel your back on the chair. Or maybe you choose to stand with both feet planted firmly on the ground. Maybe you choose to stand near a window and just allow the sunlight to reach your body. Those small shifts help the nervous system experience a little bit more environmental support. Many nervous systems respond positively when they experience some spaciousness around them, and that's what inventory of our senses does. Sometimes just breathing or stretching or allowing our shoulders to relax or our jaw to soften is the exact experience our body needs to allow more of the picture to come into view. We can simply spend a few minutes allowing our nervous system to connect to the space that we are actually in. And allowing this time to happen matters. The third strategy I invite you to try is what I call allowing support. Human nervous systems, we respond relationally. Many of us have moments where our body settles much more easily in the presence of someone else. A familiar voice or a calm conversation or a safe friend or even a quiet animal sitting on our lap. Those presents oftentimes allow our nervous systems to loosen. This is part of co-regulation, and our nervous system is continually responding to the environments around our bodies. Breathing patterns begin to shift together. Pacing shifts together, and our attention shifts together. Sometimes one other regulated presence creates just enough steadiness for the other nervous system to begin to settle. Many of us have learned how to offer this kind of steadiness to others, yet many of us have never learned how to receive it for ourselves. Sometimes genuine care becomes disguised as constant emotional management. We become highly attentive, highly accommodating, and highly responsible for the emotional atmosphere around us. We tend to soften tension. We anticipate needs to reduce conflict, and we monitor our reactions carefully as to not to disrupt anything. We try to create steadiness for everyone else while carrying our own nervous system, sometimes alone. And while these responses often come from care, many bodies begin carrying far more than they can hold because it's meant to be held relationally, not by one person. Healthy co-regulation feels very different. It feels mutual. It's shared and sustainable. It's not just one nervous system regulating every person. It's several nervous systems coming together in companionship. And instead of leaving responsibility to one person, it's held collectively. Support changes nervous systems loads. And many people begin softening when they realize an experience can be carried by more than just themselves. Sometimes support looks much smaller than we imagine. It may simply be just someone sitting next to us. It may simply be just hearing a familiar voice. It's important for us to recognize that this support does not have to be gigantic. It just needs to be shared. We spent time today with a simple truth. The nervous system prepares before conscious thought arrives. This is readiness in action. And when it has been practiced for a very long time, it can feel automatic. And when it begins to feel automatic, it feels like a part of our personality. And often, it's simply just a strategy that we came up with during survival. But rather than asking our body to simply stop preparing, we can offer it a little bit more support. We can name what is happening so that we can widen our attention. And we can remember that here in this moment is where support can be shared. As we move through the rest of the day, the rest of the week, perhaps we can begin to simply notice when we sense ourselves in preparation mode before we realized, wait a minute, I'm actually preparing to respond to something. There's no pressure to change it. We're just learning how to notice. We're just learning how to expand our perception just a little. We're learning how to understand a little bit more. This is nervous system groundwork. where we learn to understand what our bodies have been responding to so that we can relate to it from a different position, a position of love, gentleness, and collective support. Until next time, may we move gently with the nervous system we already have.